You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network. New shows every day. Find us at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Hi everybody, welcome to Red Wings Rant. Tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. We are previewing, of course, as you can see on the screen here, the Red Wings' first game on ESPN Plus here in the regular season against the Florida Panthers tonight at 7 o'clock. This is going to be, this is exciting, I think, for Red Wings fans to be back on that national broadcast. It's exciting for us to be on our ESPN broadcast again. I am super stoked just for the idea that this is happening on ESPN. And I think if you guys have been following along with the show, it's something that's super exciting because you're putting more eyes on the sport that we all love. So what can we enjoy tonight? As divisive as any news story is these days, I do hope that we all have one single mindset for the Kyle Beach story and what's been going on there. But affecting tonight's game, well, Pointville is out and Andrew Brunette will be stepping in. Brunette has a couple of years assisting with the Minnesota Wild and also took some time as an assistant general manager as well, but then joined the Florida Panthers in 2019 as an assistant head coach under Joel Quenneville, has been around. He does know the system. It is still something that I think from a mental standpoint, that's where this will affect the game. I think the study for the Florida Panthers and their ability to be undefeated starts with taking a look at an analytic that measures the difference between the goals for and goals against. So we're not talking about expected here. We're talking about who's been able to finish and who's stopping shots. It is the Florida Panthers. They have a goals for per 60. So the amount of goals that they're putting in the back of the net from a 5-on-5 perspective is 3.55. The goals against per 60 is 1.57. Of course, that's almost a 2-point difference, 2-goal difference. It's a 1.98 is ranking third in the league, and that's how I have this table sorted right now that we're taking a peek at. For me, we could discuss all day long the expected goals that a team is supposed to put in, but when we actually are talking about the goals hitting the twine, that's obviously the most important statistic at the end of the day. You could play the game that analytics wants you to play. You could play the game that looks like you're supposed to win, but when you play the game that is actually winning, that's how you become a undefeated franchise. And we'll get into the goaltending in a second, but that goals for per 60 is so high right now because of the secondary scoring for the Florida Panthers. And Cap Friendly does put Aleksander Barkov, Anthony Duclair, and Carter Verhaeghe together on that first line. But there's so much scoring coming from the second line, starting with Jonathan Huberdeau, who does have 3 points on the power play, but he's coming in tonight with 9 points and leading the way for the Florida Panthers. And when you compare that to the Detroit Red Wings and try to figure out where's the secondary scoring coming from for the Detroit Red Wings, you go to that second line for Detroit, and you've got 4 points for Robbie Fabry, 1 point for Suter, and 3 points for Zadina. Now, everybody could have their conversations all day, every day about which player is supposed to be doing what. How happy can we be with having a two-way forward who does a very good job of limiting chances going one way or the other? But when you talk about finishing and you talk about a team that's 7-0 right now and comparing them to the Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers have a first line, and then their second line is producing very well. And that is why I have up on the screen right now the points per 60, because it's a very worthwhile conversation to point out that Huberdeau has a 4.35 points per 60. So to put these guys all on the same playing level, it's the third line, Sam Reinhart, who's actually coming in with the third most points per 60 for the Florida Panthers so far. It's a conversation that just is starting to get out of hand for secondary scoring in the Florida Panthers. And it's something that if you can't shut that down, it could get ugly, especially for a team like the Detroit Red Wings, who have struggled thus far to find that secondary scoring. But it is something that the Red Wings right now statistically are unable to compete with in any sort of way. In net tonight is the man who ranks second in two things in the NHL. First thing he ranks second in is salary, of course, to Carey Price. And the other thing is goals saved above expected Of course, we're talking about Segei Bobrovsky, who's having a hell of a season, hell of a start. 94.58 save percentage. This is something that is incredible to see happening in front of us, because his expected goals are sitting at 16.16, and he's only given up the 9.02. So this is something for Bobrovsky, for Florida fans. They're getting to see the Bobrovsky that they hope they'd see with the huge contract attached to his name. So what you're hoping for tonight is the law of averages catches up with Bobrovsky, and despite his history with the Red Wings and performing quite well, of course, even when he struggled in seasons past, we seem to be the team that would light him back up, turn him on again, turn him back into Bobrovsky. Maybe this is that opportunity, because he's yet to see a Red Wings team with Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond. Is this the team that can find a way to get through? So how do the Red Wings finally beat Bobrovsky? How do they make him look human again? This is going to be dependent on the first line once again. I think it would be ridiculous at this point to see what the Red Wings have done so far this season and not say to yourselves, well, the first line needs to come out hot. And let's start the conversation with a comparison of how well Dylan Larkin has played so far this season with Aleksander Barkov. And what you can see the major difference here is the finish. The goals for per 60 for Larkin is doing much better than Barkov so far, but everything else seems to be pretty comparable. So the difference here is going to be when you take this first line. If we could say Dylan Larkin has found and loved hockey again and loves hockey again, and he's able to compare himself with a Barkov, what do we see when we compare the two wingers? And you can clearly see in starting the conversation with Lucas Raymond and comparing Carter Verhaeghe, which we could also just insert Tyler Bertuzzi or Anthony Duclair, which we'll do in a second here. Lucas Raymond has the advantage quite a bit here from both the finishing perspective and what he's doing on both sides of the ice, from a perspective of preventing chances as well, where Lucas Raymond is easily the stronger of the two players here. Now, we've seen how well Tyler Bertuzzi has played so far this season. Of course, the finish is there. The shot percentage still hovering around 50%. How could it not be? So Tyler Bertuzzi has that advantage over Duclair, but it's clearly with the attempts that Duclair has the advantage between all four wingers, including Verhaeghe and Lucas Raymond. So it's something to the effect of trying to limit what those attempts are on the first line, and knowing that the Red Wings right now have that advantage of limiting them when comparing Bertuzzi, Verhaeghe, Duclair, and Lucas Raymond, that you hope that they can nullify or subtract the first line from the equation and add some offense themselves, especially with how incredibly efficient this team has been with finishing on the first line. So with all that being said, I still have to come back to the secondary scoring for Florida and how incredibly difficult it really is to compare the Detroit Red Wings to the Florida Panthers in regards to that secondary scoring. And really because of the massive gap that the Panthers have between themselves and the rest of the league, but especially between the Panthers and our second line. So I go back to the conversation of, when will we break through? When does that second line break through? And you could see that as Filip Zadina continues to be one of the top producing expected goals for forwards in the league, you're waiting for those opportunities to finally be cashed in. You hope it happens tonight. And when the Red Wings need it most is against the Florida Panthers. And for them to find a win, that is absolutely what you need to see. So to finish up this conversation, the responsible thing to do is look at the Florida Panthers, undefeated, look at Bobrovsky and the way he's playing and say, this is an easy win for Florida. Look at the way the secondary scoring is going, should be an easy win for Florida. I think, again, it would be irresponsible as somebody looking at this game, judging it from an eyeball test and an analytics test, and to actually suggest the Red Wings would just, again, break the formula. They're the team that would do it. Would be insane. But here we are. Red Wings are going to take this one 4-2. That's right. Detroit back at home against the Florida Panthers. Panthers take their first loss of the season to Detroit tonight. Again, I say Zadina turns it on. I say the Red Wings are able to completely snuff out this first line with the power of their own first line. And Bobrovsky's just going to flat out go in the negative from an expected goals perspective tonight. So Red Wings win.